Yo, what's up, guys? Today I am going to be talking about Skarlet and what buffs she needs to be able to compete with the rest of the cast. And yeah, let's just jump right on into it. Yeah, so I think just like a little bit of a disclaimer before I start. I do think like Scarlet is good. Um but I also think that she could use a little bit of help. Like in this game it's kind of weird because every character is kind of good enough to compete with everyone, but also like not at the same time. It's really weird. Like characters are good, but they just lack some I guess top tier material that the top tier has that makes them do better than everyone else. And I think to help Scarlet a little bit, I think her main issue is her some of her strings having gaps. Like a lot of them have gaps. Like pretty much every main Scarlet string has a gap. 124 has a gap. Forward 4-3 has a gap. Back 3-4 has a gap. It's like all the strings that she wants to use has gaps. Um, and when you look at the actual strings, like 124, that or 124 or even 4-4-3, like those strings don't go into like anything crazy. Even on block, they're not. It's not like anything broke, right? Even if they don't flawless block. So it's like the flawless block gap being there is kind of weird to me, especially with like when you have like all these other characters who have amazing like plus jab strings without flawless block gaps, and you have plus mids even that people have without flawless block gaps. It's kind of crazy to see that Scarlet does have gaps. So I think to kind of help her out, you can I think remove the gaps, but make it so they're more minus, because I think right now if they don't have a gap and they stay the way they are, being at the frames they are, I think that might be a little bit too good. So I think you can give her something and then take away a little bit so she's not too overpowered, because I think what could happen if you do buff her too much, like any character, she'll become too good, of course. So you kind of got to be careful about that. I think that could help her in a lot of ways. Not only will it help her be able to like use strings without getting full combo punished, it'll also help with little things like kind of like meeting and just being able to like jab without being scared to jab. And the reason why I say meeting is because her forward 4-3 is like, I would say, one of her main ways she meaties besides just like a standard poke for a meaty. And the problem with that is like if you do forward 4-3 as a meaty and they wake up without delaying and they just block the forward 4, they can then flawless block the last hit of the string and then full combo you for trying to meaty, which kind of sucks. Not a lot of characters have to really deal with that, and it's kind of the same way with 124. And you could say, well, just do 1-2, but the problem with 1-2 is if they delayed wake up, then you get punished because 1-2 has a lot of recovery. So that's kind of one of her problems. Same thing with back 3-4. Like she really struggles with meeting, and that's why you see like a lot of people when they play versus Scarlet, they kind of just get up and they just wake up buttons, or they even delay wake up buttons. Like you can kind of get away with that versus Scarlet because her going for meaties is super risky, and that's just because of the gaps that she has. I think one of Scarlet's strengths is her neutral though. Like her neutral is definitely I'd say one of the best in the game actually, which is funny because she's like one of the worst characters in the game. But that is one of her strengths. But I think it's not enough to kind of keep up with like the top tiers of the game. I think some of her other issues are kind of small. I think like a lot of her the way she gets damage is by doing like a string into special, right? But even then, those have gaps as well. Like 4-2 tongue, 4-2 straight projectile. Like a lot of these things just have gaps. She's just a character that has gaps everywhere. And I think that is what keeps her back. But I think they have to be careful again, like I said earlier. They need to make it so the frames are a little bit different because their forward 4-3 is minus 1, I believe, which is insane if it doesn't have a gap. So I think that definitely should be looked at, and if it stays at minus 1 without a gap, that would actually probably be broken. Um, the reason why I actually played her in the beta was because no one really flawless blocked in the beta because everyone was so new at the game. No one really flawless block up to anything. So that's why I think Skarlet. Everyone was saying Skarlet was so good in the beta because no one was blowing up anything that she was doing. But now, of course, you see like everyone just anything Skarlet does, she's gonna get blown up for it. I just think those changes would probably help her keep up with the rest of the cast, and I don't even think it would make her that broken either. I actually not broken at all. It might make her like right under top tier in my opinion. Yeah, so I think a lot of people in the community say that Skarlet doesn't really need any changes. And I can see why they think that because like she still is a good character, even though she's one of the worst characters in the game. She is still a good character, and people say she doesn't need changes. But I think that she actually does. I think people saying that the top tiers need nerfs and the bottom like bring the top tiers down to the bottom tier level. I don't think that's the right way to go about it because when you look at the top tiers, they're not really broken. They just have a lot of really good tools. Like all of their tools are really good and they can use it effectively. But I think with the bottom tiers, they only have like one or two tools that is good, and then everything else is like kind of like whatever. Like it's not even worth it to use it. But I think bringing the bottom tiers up to the top tier will kind of level out the game a little bit more because I think the top tiers right now is a good baseline to be at for character strength. So I think that's why some of these lower tier characters should receive some buffs in order to bring them to that baseline. I think it's a huge misconception that lower tiers should not be buffed because it's a weird game. It's a really weird game in terms of like tier strength because like every character is good, but not every character can be solo mained in my opinion and win a tournament. Like even if like Sonic Fox picked up Shao Kahn, like they're not gonna win a tournament. It's just not happening. No matter even Ninja Killa, like they're not gonna win a tournament. Even though some of these characters like are good. So I think in my opinion, they definitely need to be buffed a little bit, but also got to be careful because you can overbuff, of course. But yeah, those are just my overall thoughts. Alright guys, hopefully y'all enjoyed this video. If you guys have anything you want to add, just let me know in the description and you guys can discuss about different things if you agree or disagree with me. And list the changes that you guys would want to your characters. And if you agree with me on bringing the lower tier characters to the top tier characters and kind of have that be the baseline because I think that is where characters really need to be to have a very diverse game so all the characters are played. But yeah, that's just my opinion. Let me know what you think and hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. See y'all in the next one.